Players all in.
I'm all in.
All in and out.
Straight flush.
Put that on the vlog.
Yeah, I do think we're going to put that on the vlog. That's right, boys. We flop a straight flush later on in this video and we get paid. So definitely stick around for that. But for this hand, we're looking at Queen 4 of Hearts. The middle position raised it up to $10. I call, under the gun calls, and we're going to be going 3 ways to this flop. And the flop's not bad when it comes out Queen 8 deuce with 2 spades. So we flop top pair and we have backdoor flush outs. The under the gun player decides to check, and middle position player leads out for $30. I call the $30 because I have top pair, not really too much to say here. And this is when the hand kind of goes off the rails. Under the gun player goes all in for $81, which isn't that bad good a deal. He could be doing this with a flush draw. He could be doing it with Jack 10, 9, 10 if he's feeling ambitious, but then the middle position player decides he's going all in for $155. And I think this is a spot where I should just fold. I should just chalk up the $30 as a loss plus the $10 I threw in pre-flop. So just lose $40 on this hand and not compound the mistake by calling. But I look at the board. I have top pair. I have runner flush outs. I mean, I basically have the nuts. I'm pretty sure if I hit my 4, I'm good. I don't think they have a set. I think one person's on a flush draw and probably one person either has an overpair or has a better queen than me. So once again, if you find yourself in this spot, just fold. But if you're a degen like me, ask for a chip count, see how much the pot will be, and then convince yourself that you're ahead of both players and you should call, because that's what true degens do. And that's what I did. I asked the dealer to get a count from both stacks, and then I eventually decided to make a call. The under the gun player announces he has the flush draw, and the middle position player lets me know he has aces. So we are drawing extremely thin, and this is why you don't put yourself in these situations. That's why when someone bets, you call, someone behind goes all in, and then the player behind them, who was the original raiser, goes all in. You just fold your cards and wait for a better spot, because this spot is not looking too good for us, boys. But learn from my mistakes, fold if you find yourself in this position, and all you have is queen with a 4 kicker. But that being said, we decide to go twice, so we do have, 4 chances to pull ahead and win this hand. The dealer finishes up getting the pots right, gets them where they need to be, and we go to the first turn, which is the 5 of diamonds. We missed that. 6 of hearts, missed that as well. It's fine, we have 2 more cards to go. It's not the end of the world. Come on, dealer, let us get there. 2 of clubs and 10 of diamonds. That means that we get scooped. Aces hold the entire way. And let's just try and play better from here on. How about that? Nice hand. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so for the next one, we look down at ace-king offsuit. There's really not much analysis that needs to go into this one. I see ace-king. I only have $74 in my stack, and I go all in. That's it. Pretty plain and simple. The button does decide to call. He likes to rip it. I know that. Everyone else folds. So as soon as everyone folds, dealer gets a pot right. And we are headed to the flop heads up, which with ace king, you can't ask for much more. I mean, hopefully he has a weaker ace, or if he has a pair, it's a coin flip. Either way, I don't really care. $74. If I lose this, I'll reload. Hoping I don't lose though, because I want to run it up and not get on multiple bullets like I did in my last video. If you guys haven't seen that one and you like train wrecks, definitely check it out. Anyways, here is the flop. It comes out and it's 10 jack 5. So any 10s ahead, any jacks ahead. 5 comes on the turn and a jack comes on the river. So we are playing ace high. He flips over his cards. He has king high. That is not going to be enough. Our ace high wins it and we get a double up. Let's go. For this next hand, we look down at king queen offsuit. Pretty good starting hand. So I think the natural thing to do in my position is when it is folded around to me, raise it up to $15. That's exactly what I do. Action folds around to the button. He is sitting up, laughing, having a good time. He has no idea it's on him. Hey, buddy, it's your action. Okay, he gives us a call. Everyone else folds until it gets to the middle position player. He decides to call as well, and we are going 3 ways to this flop. Now, the flop comes out, and we don't hit it, but it's not a bad flop for us either because it is 10-8 jack. So we flop open-ended, but there's a flush draw out there. It's a very dynamic, very connected board. So when it checks to me, I think I have to bet 30 here. The small blind player eventually decides he wants to fold, and the middle position player decides he wants to go all in for $65. Naturally, I snap call. I'm never folding, open-ended with 2 overs. If he has his beat, he has his beat. This is just one of those hands where you got to see where the chips fall, and you got to put your money in. This player lets me know that he wants to rip it. I'm completely fine with that. So the dealer goes to the turn, which is the 8 of diamonds. Not really the best card, but hopefully it doesn't have a full house. In the river is the queen of clubs. Brings in the flush draw, but we do have top pair now. Hopefully that's enough to take down the hand. Unfortunately, it's not. Our opponent has jack 9, so he flopped top pair with the open-ended. The queen is not the card we wanted to see. It gives him the straight, and he wins this one. Nice hand, good sir. On to the next one. Alright guys, so this is the infamous straight flush hand. Do me a favor, please drop a sub. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. If you guys could do that, it would be amazing. Thank you so much. Anyways, back to the hand. Under the gun raises to 15. I call. The cutoff calls, the big blind calls, and middle position called somewhere in there as well. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. And if you couldn't tell from the title of this video in the intro, the flop is, well, slightly above average when it comes out 6, 9, 10 of clubs, flopping us the straight flush. Now, flopping a straight flush is amazing. It does not happen all the time. It hardly ever happens. So I don't really know exactly how to play this. I don't want to bet and run off anyone. So action checks around. I look back at my cards because I'm in so much disbelief, but the flop checks through. Luckily, the turn comes. Under the gun, bets 15. Middle position is going to call. Of course, I am going to slow play. Once again, I don't want to run off my customers, so I just call as well. Cutoff calls, and the small blind decides that he is done with the hand and returns his cards kindly to the dealer. The river comes, which is the 10 of hearts pairing the board. Now all I can do is hope that someone has a boat. The middle position leads out for $40, and of course I have no other option other than to go all in for $125. I'm shocked when the cutoff goes all in over the top of me, but I'm not mad about it. Both of the other players get out of the way, and we are going heads up. I feel so bad for this opponent. He's a good friend of mine. We play all the time. He shows 10-9. He has top full house, and we completely cooler him with the straight flush. Oh, man. That is a bad beat. I think this gets paid out in a casino, right? Would this get paid out, or do you need quads? I think you need higher than 10s full to get paid, but either way, it's an extremely bad beat. Luckily, we weren't super deep. I mean, this is probably the most shallow we've ever been, but hit a straight flush, win a $425 pot, and let's go on to the next hand. All right, guys, do me a favor. Let me know down in the comments what the best hand you hit was or what the biggest cooler you had against someone. Not one against you. You can let me know that too. But if you guys hit a straight flush or quads or anything like that and had a huge cooler, I definitely want to hear about it. Anyways, as for this hand, we're starting a little bit into the hand. There was a $5 button straddle. I raised it up to $30. We ended up getting 4 callers and are going 4 ways to a flop. It would be great to hit this flop, but I guess I can't really say anything. We've already hit a straight flush to this vlog, so... Flop comes out for King 4. We smashed the flop. There's 1 spade, so we do have runner flush opportunities. But with that being said, I'm pretty sure my pair of kings with a queen kicker is going to be good 90% of the time here. Action does eventually check around to me, and I decide to lead out for $50. 1/3 pot. I feel that'll keep some non-believing aces in there. Maybe some smaller pocket pairs we'll want to call. So I feel like 3rd pot on this board is going to be good. Action gets around to the small blind. He does decide he wants to make the call and see another card. All the other players fold their cards, and we're going heads up to the turn, which changes absolutely nothing because it is the 5 of clubs other than bringing in the backdoor flush draw. So when the small blind checks, I think about how much I want to bet, and I think $80 here is going to be a decent size for the amount in the pot. So that is what I do. I'm sorry, did I say 80? Okay, I lied to you boys. I bet 85. Okay, put a little $5 tax on it. Anyways, I think 80, 85, it's gonna be the same thing. And either way, our opponent, it does go into the tank here. At this point, I think he's got a middling pocket pair. He's probably got something like 9s, 10s, 7s, 8s, anything between the 5 and probably the 10s. I don't think he has jacks or better because he would have raised pre-flop, but he's in the tank thinking about it. He looks like he's going to call. He looks like he's going to fold. Eventually, he does decide to make the fold. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to get some more money in that pot, but hey, we're taking down a $250 pot, and that's not too bad in my book. All right, guys, for this next hand, we look down and we see pocket 8s. The under the gun player had bet $20, so I throw in a green chip and make the call. The button calls and the big blind calls as well. So we're going to be going 4 ways to this flop. And the flop is amazing when it comes out 10-3-8. That's right, we flopped middle set and we have a death grip on this hand. So under the gun bets $30. I make the call because there's not too many cards I'm worried about right here. I mean, Jack 9 has open-ended, but I don't think we're up against top set. That would just be a huge cooler. The button calls the 30, and the big blind calls as well. So we're still 4 ways going to this turn card, which changes absolutely nothing when it's the king of spades, other than pocket kings getting there, I suppose, but you can't be worried about monsters under the bed. Under the gun decides to lead out for $100 on this card. Once again, I'm still going to slow play. I make the call. There's no flush draws out there. The board's getting a little more straighty, but the other 2 players fold, and once again, I'm not too concerned with it. Ace of diamonds comes on the river, so I guess Queen Jack got there. That's a little unfortunate if he has it. He bets $70, and once again, I just don't think I can worry about monsters under the bed. I go all in for $285, and he snap calls us. His snap call is a little concerning because I'm going to be worried about aces or kings. He did raise 20 pre-flop. Luckily, he does not have one of those hands. He has king jack. Did not believe us when we went all in. We get paid and take down a $970 pot. Let's go, boys. The dealer gets a final count of the chips, lets him know how much he will be sending our way, and he has a little bit of a sign language to tell us as we are taking his chips. He's a good guy. It's all in good fun. No one, say anything in the comments. We're all friends here, but we are taking this pot down. He'll have access to them later. So, GG. See you on the next hand. Alright guys, this is the last hand of the night. We look down at Queen Jack offsuit. Under the gun raises it up to $15. He ends up getting a couple of callers, and then action gets to me. Now, with Queen Jack offsuit, there's no problem calling, but I like to mix it up and re-raise with this hand every now and then. Also like to do it with some weak suited aces, things like that. But regardless, I raise it up to $55. The button reaches over and grabs some chips, puts them out there, stacks them up next to my chips. He can't be bothered with counting out $55. He's just going to match the stack. I mean, whatever works. I don't know why he's bringing him in. The dealer fixed it, but he put the call out there. This guy's name's Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. He and I went to a concert. I think it was the next day, and he ended up getting me and my girl tickets. So thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. You are the GOAT. All right, back to the poker hand. We do get a couple callers. The under the gun player that originally raised called, and the other 2 players that had called him ended up calling as well. So we're going 5 ways to this flop. And the flop comes out. It is 10-8 deuce rainbow. So we flop 2 overcards in a gutter ball. Action eventually checks around to us, and in this spot, I think it's fine to c-bet. I don't think you want to c-bet too much, but I don't think you want to go too small either. I eventually find my way to around a 3rd pot size bet. I bet $80, and right about here is when the hand starts to go off the rails. Because Chris looks back at his hand, he looks at his stack, he looks at me, and I know he has very bad intentions at this point in time. He grabs all of his red chips, shoves them in the middle, does not announce all in, so I think he's all in at this point. I wasn't even looking at the white chips. That does come into play later in the hand, but yeah, he shoves out $205 in red chips into the middle, raising me. Under the gun only has $15. He goes all in for that. the player to his left folds and the middle position goes all in for 5. I snap call him because just the way the hand played out. Plus, like I said, I have 2 overs, I have a gutter. There's a ton of things we can hit. You know, I mean, I don't think he's too strong here, and he's a good guy, so I'm definitely willing to gamble with him. He gives action, so I'll give action to him in return. The turn comes out, and it is the Bink 9 of clubs giving us the absolute nuts on this board. This is where it gets, I'm confused. The dealer said, it's my action. I said, I thought he was all in. He said, no, he had over $5 in white chips, so, it's enough for a bet. So I said, okay, I'm all in. I put him all in for his remaining $16. Naturally, he calls. He's not going to fold for 16. The pot's $737. I mean, no one's going to fold for 16 here. We talk about how many times we're going to run it. We end up deciding we're just going to run it once. The river is the 5 of diamonds. I still have the nuts. I show my hand. Chris shows ace 4 of spades. So he did have one of those hands he's getting out of line with that I was talking about. Granted, he was ahead. Luckily, we caught up. We definitely had to hit, but we did hit. So GG, we're taking down a $737 pot to end the night. He shakes my hand. Like I said, we're good buddies. We had some drinks. We had some fun the next night. It was a great time, but we're ending this session on a win. Let's go to the outro and see how much money we actually made. All right, guys, so today we ended up making $600. We ended up on a win. I'll take that, add it to the list. We're turning around from that huge game of tilt we had last episode. If you want to check that out, it's the previous one. Just check it out on the vlog. Anyways, thank you guys for your support. Catch you guys on the next one.